Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Delta Green tabletop role-playing game rules by Arc Dream Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast will include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, military organizations, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or redacted, is completely coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your handler. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your handler this evening, Michael Diamond, and we are back with our adventures with OCEL as we continue our operations in Montana. So at the top of the show, as we like to do, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you haven't had a chance to check out what we offer, you can at patreon.com/the Old Ways Podcast. We're going to get right into it with introductions tonight because we have a building to go surveil.
Hey, it's me, Miranda, and I'm playing Dr. Aaron Weber, and I sure am excited about doing both some breaking and entering, I hope.
Oh, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Dr. Weber's right.
Hi, this is Nate, and I play Elliot Winters, special analyst with the Department of State. We've got disguises, we have a target, and we have a plan. Foolproof.
Sounds great. At the end of the table.
Hi, this is Allie, and I play Special Agent Joanne Hart, and I hear there are shenanigans afoot.
There are always shenanigans afoot. And last but most certainly not least.
Hi, my name's Tegan Gilbert, and I'm playing Brett Hawking of the NCIS?
I know, right? Who'd have thunk it? So we go back to our spot in Montana, inside Bear's mother's house, where some work has been quickly coalescing into a plan. The agents have managed to receive some of the first wiretap information that Lynne set up, and it has become fairly clear that several of the facility administrators here are looking to figure out how to cover up what's going on in Lab 6. And they have also learned that the administration is aware that there is some sort of leak. And so it is under those auspices that our Delta Green agents are going to work to do a little breaking and entering, if necessary, while one of them does Overwatch, in effect, and tries to get a rough idea of the security at the ABC production facility. So, let me know where you'd like to start, and we'll get things kick-started.
I mean, do you guys want more like intel in the area? Do we want to do you want Brett? Do you want me to go out and do some Where's Waldo at the top of the hill?
Well, we talked about getting that. We talked about scoping out the where they're loading and unloading. I mean, really, what do we have to do but to go?
Brett, we talked about you doing like Overwatch, maybe setting up in a field and with that rifle. How you feel? I don't know if I'm feeling comfy with that anymore. How are you feeling about that?
I think that it's important to understand a little bit about the rounds. Either we get that from our ally or we do that intel ourselves.
All right, that makes sense. So get a couple sweeps, see what if they have what their patrol cycle is, that kind of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, unless we can get that information from our gal pal.
I'm worried that's asking a lot because that is going to require us to infiltrate multiple times.
Oh no! Well, I mean, I just mean like if she knows offhand, then that could eliminate the need to go post up one night prior and, take notes of what I see from a distance. I mean, we got field goggles, we got the stuff, we got an alibi. I mean, I could probably grab something out of one of those dusty closets in the back and I can look like a local hunter. Especially if you give me that dog leash. I could just go out there and be like, I'm looking for my dog and this is why I'm stuck out here. Something like that. But it seems valuable. It's up to you.
I picked up some camping gear.
No, I'm completely agreeing with you. It's just, I don't want to lose anybody in there. if a night of observation means we know that certain areas are patrolled by armed guards or not patrolled by armed guards, then that could be the difference between a bullet through a lung. And we've got to, we all want to make it home.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm worried. I'm worried we get in there, things will start happening, we won't have any way to talk to you. And you'll just be sitting out there waiting. I don't like it. I don't like the feel of that.
What do you mean you were going to talk out there? I got a phone.
Yeah, but you know these labs, and a lot of times that's just not that don't work.
Well, you could come out with me. We could go out on the mountain in Montana and eat some beans.
I'm going to bring my journal and my stargazing equipment if we done that.
I mean, I still feel like we could get some good information if we could get into the security. I know we got a plant on the soundboard there, but I mean, that room's got a lot of information in it.
Well, what are you thinking? Go ahead. Speak your mind.
I don't know. I don't have a real solidified plan here as far as doing reconnaissance.
Yeah, none of us are Neo. Like, we don't got hacking skills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we try to infiltrate as the late shift, there'll be less bodies around. That might be a little bit easier.
And this feels like the day to do it. I mean, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be quietest today, I would assume, out of anything else.
That's why I said I think we need to go for it. I think we can plan and plan and plan as much as we want and try to do as much recon, but all the recon that we could do is going to set us up for possibility of exposure, someone finding us out. The longer we spend doing this, the more dangerous it becomes, I feel like.
All right, why don't we split the difference? Brett, why don't you go out there, do a little bit of reconnaissance, a few hours. I like the dog leash. I picked up some of that camping gear in town. You could even grab something like that if it helps. And then come back, meet up, and we'll all go in and do this together.
Can I ask the handler something? What do I have for long arms? Because I know I have a long arm, but going out hunting with an AR-15 doesn't look like hunting.
It's not an AR-15, first of all. The gun you were given was a Model 17 Remington. Sorry, Model 700.
So yeah, I'd like to go out with my 30-06 or 270 or whatever we got in this this thing chambered for, and I'd like to go out and make peace with the night.
Okay, so a couple of things to understand. The facility itself is 30 kilometers north of Browning, so that's important to understand too. Lynne would have made that clear that it is a bit of a drive away from the city. The property itself is located, at least by what you can tell from the maps you have of the area, it's at the end of a 10-kilometer private access road.
Okay. Yeah, so minimum of 10-click hike. Are we talking like BLM land on the side?
Uh-huh.
Who owns the side properties? Okay, well, I can get onto BLM land, but you're telling me that it's at least a 10-click hike in and back out, or more?
I'd say it's probably a little bit more. But given the topology of the area, the Milk River runs fairly nearby the facility. So you might be able to utilize the river to your advantage there, because there's a lot of people that are going to fish and they're going to hunt near the river.
If I ask one of our local allies, how fast is that water running? Like, can I? Because I can go one way down that river, but if I want to go the other way down that river, I'm going to need to use something to push against that.
Well, it's going to run north to south. The river comes down from Canada, so.
Yeah, okay, I'd like to take, if I've got a kayak or something like that, unless that water going real slow, I don't know how I'm going to go against that.
I mean, Bear might have a boat. Borrow a kayak or a canoe or something.
You could potentially use a kayak, but you're going to add to the fact that you'd have to have a car to haul the kayak to the river. It's like you could put it on top of the rental, I suppose, but
But do I have J hooks? Do I even have thing to mount it with? But okay, yeah, no, I get it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive as close as I can. I'm looking at the area. I want to take a look at local maps, maybe something at a gas station, because this is still the era of buying a paper map at a gas station. I'd like to get a handle on the dirt roads, see how close I can get it. If we're talking less than 20 clicks one way, I feel like I would argue that my character could do that, could do a multi-hour hike with a rifle and some basic water and provisions. The bigger question for me is, what is the nighttime temperature? It's September in Montana. And, do I need to pack a little extra?
I don't think that your character would have any problem making a 10-click hike. But remember, you're going to have to get to that road first. And the distance between the place where you're at and the facility in general is about 30 kilometers. So the thing to remember about this place, the ABC's Gemstone facility, is that it's about 15 kilometers from the Canadian border. So when you think about the middle of nowhere, that's where this place is. So you could probably get Hart or someone else to drive you close enough to where you could, take a backpack and your provisions and the rifle and sort of head into the wilderness and then hoof it to get a good look at scouting. I don't see any issue with that. Okay. So if he gets a ride out, then he can begin taking in surveillance data. So I think, actually, what I'd really like you to roll is navigate. I think that's the first roll.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Fuck, I've got base 10. I wasn't that part of the Navy. Somebody else drove the boat.
Hey, you were all gung ho to go in there. So I will say, I'll even give you this. No, you cannot persuade the night. First of all, you're going through the day, right? And you're going to be going north. And so once you're set in that direction, it should be relatively easy to stay north during the day. Now, once it gets later in the day, afternoon, evening, then you're going to have to make navigate rolls, especially if you have to get out of there. So you start walking.
Elliot. No, I'm going by myself. I'm going to die in the desert. All right, I start walking.
So after Hart drops young Buck off into the wilderness and comes back, what are the three of you doing?
I'm writing out my notes for Brett's statement at the funeral when he gets caught. Went out there on his own, so...
Aaron's going to be preparing for tomorrow, for the next day, assuming that's when we're going to infiltrate, or maybe later tonight, just preparing for the role of a lifetime to play a chemist once again, a chance to once again be a chemist, possibly a member of the, cleaning crew, really trying to get in that headspace and make sure that we have everything that we need, which Erin's not great at, so she might forget a thing or two.
Yeah, I thought the idea was that Buck was going to go out during the day, do a little scouting, and then the team's going in that night. It's Sunday night. The time is right.
Yeah, fewest people there.
Okay. So I'm happy to fast forward to the evening. But before we do, I would love for Brett to give us a couple of rolls while he's out in the wilderness. So I think the first roll for me is likely search. Or tell me what your search is, and we'll go from there.
Oh, yeah. I got 50. I got 50 in search. That's a solid knowledge of how to look at things.
And I'll give you a bit of a bonus because you are using a scope.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay. So the property is surrounded by an outer chain link fence and what looks like an inner fence, almost 4 meters tall. It's topped with razor wire. The two fences are separated by about 10 meters, and it looks like in this 10-meter space, several guard dogs patrol it via kennel run.
Oh, what breed are they?
German Shepherd.
Interesting.
But you do get a reasonable look at some of the property. You see that there is a large parking lot. You'd be able to make out the railroad that runs directly alongside the plant. There's a helipad, and beyond the parking lot, you would see big circular buildings. They look like production facilities because they have smokestacks and everything else. And then there's 4 of them, and they're sort of set like a angled Lego. And in the middle of the 4, there's an administrative building. You can make it out from the parking lot, like from the space you get from the parking lot. There's also another building that is near the south of the property. You're not sure exactly what that is.
Well, tell me about the smaller building then. I don't know what it is, but can you give me like, does it look like an administrative building? You could like base off of the windows and the materials. Do people work in there on a regular basis? You can kind of see that sometimes.
Yeah, given that it's Sunday, you probably wouldn't see anybody working in there. But this building isn't shaped like the administration building you see, nor the production facilities. It looks more like maybe it's a private residence.
Oh, okay. You see that sometimes. Like like when you go to like on national parks, sometimes it looks like there's a couple of houses on the national park, like that some of the crew are like sleeping there or something like that. Okay, so that's how I'm going to interpret that. Maybe a couple people live there. Maybe there was some houses previously when they built Silverby, and they just kept them because they were useful for people who were on overnight shift or something.
On the far northwest side of the property, you see that there is what you think is a security building. You make a fairly good sight on several different security officers that come out of that building. And you can also see that they have a vehicle garage beyond that. And then there's a smaller building about the size of the garage at the back end of the property. And given the size and the single smokestack out of it, it is likely an incinerator.
Security building's a good thing to blow up. Incinerator. That sounds like a place where there's incriminating evidence. Oily, greasy residue. All right. Well, definitely when I come back, because we see those fun little dogs in that dog run, they built it's so nice they built it around the entire thing. We should bring the head with us so they can maybe make friends. All right. This is really good information. Do I die of exposure now?
You do not, but I do want a navigate roll for you to get back towards, well, civilization, where you can get picked up, or at least maybe get cell signal.
Cool. I'm going to roll at a 10%. Did you want me to roll this raw?
Yeah, raw.
It was not a critical failure. And I feel like in Delta Green, that's all that matters. I didn't roll a success nor a critical success, but I didn't roll a critical failure. I rolled a 95 over 10, which I think is a moderate failure. I think a participation trophy is in order.
Okay, so you head back towards town. I'll get back to you in a minute. So I'm going to presuppose that the agents worked out a pickup time for Buck before you dropped him off. Whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, we'll say that Hart would have worked out a time that she was going to go pick up her fellow agent. When she drives back to the site where she dropped him off at, she waits. And she waits. 30 minutes pass. Brett has not arrived.
Well, that's not good. Now, is this 30 minutes past the expected time for him to have been back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Brett's got a watch. He knows when he's supposed to be back here.
This is 2001. My phone has texting capabilities. I'll send Elliot a message. The pigeon is not back in the coop. He's late.
I flip a pancake, look down. Oh, geez. Weber. I just got a thing from Hart. Brett ain't showing up.
Well, that's not good.
He said he was good in the wilderness, right? Like camping and such.
Yeah. I mean, he's a military guy, right? They know those things, the survival stuff.
There's basic and everyone. Yeah. No, that's not a safe assumption. I'm just going to say no.
Okay.
I wonder if she had to have. I'll text him. I'll text Brett. U, the letter U, space, okay.
Just to be clear, because it's 2001, you'll be using T9 texting. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Brett, you're going to make a luck roll for me.
Oh, that's a good roll. That is like half.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem. I think my roll 20 is broken because it's the same numbers as before, where it's told me 95 again. There's a 1 in 100 chance of that happening. I don't.
You keep walking. Elliot, you don't get any response from your text.
I didn't get anything from him, Weber.
Well, I mean, do you think maybe he just doesn't have service or?
He doesn't have service. He's been captured. He fell in a ditch, broke his leg.
Uh-huh.
Any number of things could have happened. I mean, it is Brett. He might be up at the diner getting a triple stack, but I think that's unlikely.
Well, I mean, you're making pancakes right now, so you wouldn't need that. You could just come back.
Where's that sat phone? You know, it would have been smart if he took the sat phone. I wonder if he took the sat phone.
But what, are we supposed to go after him or something? I mean, that seems silly.
It's what we should do, but it's silly in the fact that there ain't no way for us to track him down.
Unless you have some sort of survival or tracking skill, winners.
I just assumed because he was so gung-ho. I mean, I gave him that out. You don't have to go out and do this alone. I'm going to text Hart back. Do you have the letter U have SAT FONE? Weber, I hate this texting on this keyboard.
It's not bad. You just press the number until you get to the letter that you want.
Oh my God, I skipped the number. I go too far. It takes me twice as long.
And you got to go back, yeah.
That's a good question, Handler. Do I have the sat phone?
You do.
I will text back, yes.
Oh shit, she's got it. That means he ain't got it.
He's out of service. He's probably fine. I mean, nothing's ever bad's ever happened on a river fishing trip, right?
Put down the banjo that I was plucking. Yeah, no, it's fine. What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, he gets captured by the people at Amalgamated Biotech, and then they interrogate him about what he's doing because they know that someone's looking into them, and they know that there's a leak and that we're doing shady things, and then they kill him, and then they find us.
They could reanimate him too with that blue stuff, but then we might find him if they capture him. So it'll all work out fine because we're still going in there. We got to do this tonight.
That was the second worst thing. I just said the worst thing. Him coming back would be the second worst thing.
Brett, I'd like you to make me another navigate roll. And I'm going to give you a 20% bonus to the roll because you are going to have plucked out the map that you had.
That is a 58 over 30. I'm going to die out here.
That remains a possibility.
Oh, Weber, you got that look on your face like you just had a great idea. What?
I don't have any ideas other than we go out looking for him.
That's an awful idea. Just like a terrible idea.
I know it is. Well, the other option is we wait for him to make his way back. Maybe he found something, maybe he didn't. I mean, I guess we'll know for sure by Monday, but that place is going to be a lot busier by Monday.
That big old bear of yours, I shouldn't use that word because that's actual person. That gigantic dog of yours ain't a tracker, is it?
I mean, I don't know if they do that. I don't think that they do that. What were these dogs bred for? Killing things? They're protecting. They're killing, yeah.
I mean, just looking at the size of the head, yeah, I feel like it's a murder dog.
Yeah, protecting, killing things, defending. I don't know about track. No, he's not a bloodhound. He's not going to pick up the scent with his big floppy ears on the ground.
Would have been nice. I got text back, Hart. Keep waiting, comma, gonna call. And then I just give up texting anymore, and I pick up the landline, and I'm going to call Bear.
You call Bear. You get him within a couple of rings. Hey, everything okay?
No, not at all. What happens if someone gets lost in the woods around here? Is there a protocol? Try and track them down? You got a helicopter by chance or something?
No, I don't have a helicopter, but the first thing you do is you determine whether or not they were drunk when they left. Usually fellows who are drunk around here that wander around, they turn right back around in 10, 15 minutes and you find them somewhere on somebody's porch, whatnot. But if the fellow's not drunk, then I guess I'd want to know about where you last knew he was.
Yeah, I had that. We dropped this fellow off. It's Brett. You've met him. We dropped Brett off at, and I explain wherever that drop off was. The trailhead, the Brett head is what we're calling it now. We dropped Brett off at the Brett head here, and he was supposed to meet us back a couple hours later, and he just hasn't shown. Hart's out there waiting for him. We have a sat phone. Good news, Bear. Bad news, he didn't take it. He doesn't seem to be getting reception. I tried texting him.
This guy like wandering off?
No. He had a specific you know all this. He was going off to take a look at the facility, try and get a understanding of maybe security schedules, patrols, all that good stuff over at ABC.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't catch that last part. Maybe I'll just stop by.
Okay. And your dog ain't a tracking dog, is it?
Oh no. Bojangles is best at eating.
Yeah, that's what we thought. No, that was one of our guesses. All right. Thanks, Bear.
I'll see you shortly. Hang up the phone.
Damn it, Wilbur. We had a plan. It was clean. It wasn't,
though, because the more things we do before we do the thing, the more risk we run. And this was a risk. Brett going out there was a known risk because it's another thing. You add more to the plan, there's more places for the plan to fail.
I figured he could walk into the woods and come back out again. He could throw this just like anyone else, but damn it, I should have known.
Brett, you do encounter something that you were not expecting.
Oh, fantastic. What is it?
It's the Milk River.
Like a river of milk?
No.
The local river is called the Milk River.
That's correct.
Oh.
It sits on the west side of the facility. So that stands to reason. If you turn back around where you came from, you will probably run into the road that leads up to ABC.
Well, logic center of my brain, that sounds like a fantastic idea. I think I'll follow my own advice.
You turn around. When you turn around, there's a familiar face. It's a man in a leather jacket. You encountered this man in Red Hook in your hotel room.
Oh, sweet. I'm now hallucinating. I thought that it takes longer to do that. I'm gonna square my shoulders, turn to this guy and say, so is it time?
He steps closer to you. He gets very close, within arm's reach of you.
I don't step back.
He's a rather physically powerful looking man. He puts two fingers up toward you as if to gesture to your mouth, and you hear a voice as old as a cedar forest say, "Open up."
Yeah, I'll consume anything that he gives me.
You feel compelled to open your mouth.
That was not a strong compulsion.
You feel compelled to because something is coming out of your mouth. It's a snake. It's a very thick snake.
I'm gonna not bite. Oh God.
He reaches forward and grabs the snake and pulls a 2-meter long snake out of your mouth. You dry heave. He wraps the snake around his forearm. He leans down while you're still recovering, and he places a coin on the ground. And then he walks away.
All right, I'm gonna bend down to inspect the coin.
You bend down. When you bend down, you see that the coin has been struck a couple of times in a very strange pattern.
Okay, how would one describe this pattern?
It's angular. It almost looks like an arrowhead at first when you look at it.
So it's pointing the way.
It is absolutely pointing the way. It's an intriguing symbol. It's like multiple arrowheads within one another. And there seems to be some sort of feet to it. You feel your pulse start to race. And you're going to roll sand now versus the unnatural.
So is that I'm rolling my sand minus my unnatural skill, or you have it's an opposed check?
It's not an opposed check. You're just going to roll sand, and it's versus an unnatural. It's a brush with the unnatural.
Okay, I have rolled a 42 under 64.
Okay, very good. You will end up losing 2 points of sanity. You feel compelled to tell the next person about this coin. Next person you see, you feel very compelled to tell them about it so that they can look at it.
So I feel compelled to describe and even possibly show this symbol to somebody the next chance I get. Then I'll palm the coin, right? I got to keep the coin?
Yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't give it up.
All right. I love it.
You head back towards the road. When you do, you run essentially into the headlights of Agent Hart.
Whoa! Hey, don't run me over. I'm going to walk around to your window and knock on it.
I'll just motion you to like get your ass in the car.
All right, sweet. I'm going to like dodge around the back of the car, and then like I'll open the door and I will like slide in and be like, oh, okay. You got water?
Yeah, it's in the back seat.
Okay. I'm going to go I'm just going to slide between the seats, and there's like dust and dirt now all over the interior of this vehicle as I like go back there and just start chugging water.
Yeah, I mean, not that that's really going to make a difference given all of the, dog head goo that's been exposed at this point. I send a text to Elliot, pigeon roosted on my way back.
Oh, thank God. Weber, he showed up.
Do you got a camera on that phone?
The shittiest camera ever.
That's sweet. Hey, can I see that for a second?
No, I'm driving. We need to get back. You're already late.
I know. That's why I need to text Elliot. Let me see that. Let me see the phone. Just pass it over. Just pass me the fucking phone.
I'll just toss my phone in the backseat. Like, whatever.
Sweet. I guess I'll crawl back there completely back to go get the phone.
Doesn't matter. You frustrated me. Into the back with you.
So I'm going to take your phone and I'm going to take a picture of it, and I'm going to show you the picture of what I found, and I'm putting the coin back in my pocket. Like, look at this. Look at this. It was just like on, I think I found, there's gold in them there hills.
So a couple of things are going to happen rather rapidly. For you, Agent Hart, you have a really hard time understanding what this is at first. At first, it just looks like a sort of beat up coin. And then you realize that the coin is not like a minted coin. It's a stamped one. The coin is very old. Also, the coin might be gold. But the image that's on it is intriguing. And you feel like it's really important. The symbol that's on here is really important. You don't know why, but other people need to see it. Other people need to see what's on it. So I'm going to have you roll sand now, thanks to your fellow agent.
I got a 60 solid over 53.
Okay. So you're going to lose 3 sandy.
Cool.
Elliot, you get a message that you have to download. You don't know how to do that.
Weber, you got one of these phones that shows pictures? Jesus, I think I've
How old are you, Winters? I guess I have a teenage daughter, so I gotta know these things.
It's about money. It's about, don't look at this thing. Show her my Sony Ericsson.
Take it from him. I'll work on downloading the picture.
It don't show pictures. I don't want. Give me that. I text back.
Just can you send it to me or have?
I don't think it's still done. What is this? Question mark. I can't see pictures on my phone. Takes me 5 minutes to type that out. It's bullshit. No response.
You don't get a response directly because, of course, Agent Hart is driving and probably doesn't hear it right away. You do manage eventually, Winters, to get it downloaded. And you sort of feel a little sinking feeling. You've seen this thing before. You've seen this this angle, this series of angles before. They're real familiar. You just can't place where. You don't have to make any sand roll or compulsion roll because you've already encountered this before. So enjoy. So Hart, you and Buck eventually get back to Bear's mom's house. I will say that it is now 6 p.m. Sunday night.
What the hell took you so long? You didn't take the sat phone. Winters was worried sick about you.
Oh, you worried sick about me, Winters? That's really sweet. I appreciate that. So I learned a lot about the facility, and I have a sunburn. So they've got a double fence with a space between that fence. And guess what it's full of? Puppies.
Oh, that's cute.
Nope. Adult German Shepherds.
Oh.
Still cute, just dangerous if they want to be.
Yeah, it looks like they've got an exterior building or one on the area. I'd say probably around the northwest corner that looks like it's security. They're definitely burning stuff in there. There's a kind of like a charnel house area, but it did not smell like barbecue, at least from where I was. And there was a lot of round buildings on the interior that looked like they were possibly manufacturing or chemical plants. And then there were a few buildings on the compound that appeared to be either repurposed residential buildings or currently occupied residential buildings, just based off of basic layout and architecture.
Well, I think you did some good work then, Brett.
So that'll give us information. So most of the armed guards are coming out of that security building in the northwest corner. So if you want to breach on the opposite side, that'll probably give you the most lead time if you fuck up.
We. You mean we, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying we like you're French.
Away. No. That's what I observed. And then I got lost. So I'm sorry, I got lost.
Yeah, we know.
But Hart found me.
We know.
Next time, take the sat phone with you.
Yeah, that would have been smart. That seems like something that I would have thought of before I left, but apparently did not.
Yeah. Can't change it now. That's okay. But just next time, do that thing. Please.
Butcher shop, get some steaks, or you got some other ideas about these dogs?
About the dogs? Me?
Anyone. It's the royal you.
Do we have to do anything about the dogs?
Well, we gotta avoid them, right?
Well, if we're in uniforms, just go in there to do our jobs. Can they recognize that?
Yeah, but we have a plan for getting in. We don't have an immediate plan for getting out. And the assumption should not be that everything at the compound will be in the same situation when we're trying to escape as when we're going inside. Because if we fuck up literally anything in this anthill, it's going to be on lockdown, which means we may have to attempt to exit from a non-traditional hole.
Like the back door.
Or side door. Or something. Exactly. And we may need to do it in a way that has us crossing Dogland.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just my advice.
All right. Everyone gear up. Get going in about half hour.
Yeah, that works.
There's some extra pancakes in the kitchen if you're hungry, Brett.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so I have a question. Is the plan for the agents then to drive themselves to ABC?
But I don't know. It's going to be suspicious with our out-of-state license plates.
Now, the group is aware that Lynn has a van.
Mm-hmm. Does Lynn work the night shift? She works the...
No, she works the night shift. She only swapped one second shift a couple of times to get you intel.
And we could carpool, but that might put Lynn at unnecessary risk too.
She can drive us. She can walk in. We can give her time, and then we can sneak out the back.
Yeah.
Would Lynn's van go to the garage that's near the security station? Or would it go to a separate parking lot?
It would probably go to the parking lot based on the information that Brett has delivered.
Okay.
It sounds more like the garage is for security vehicles, like ATVs maybe, or at worst like a Humvee.
Okay. One of the bigger problems is that since we don't know the full detailed layout, like we have a general understanding of where buildings are, but we don't know where there might be motion lights or cameras or anything like that. And unless that was something that Lynn told us about.
No, Lynn did not detail any internal security other than showing you a map of the facility. That's really all she came back with. She didn't pinpoint any cameras internally, probably because she wasn't asked.
So I guess the biggest thing is that if we write in with her, we need to be very careful about who goes out, because it might be very difficult for us to move as a cohesive unit if there's going to be people wandering around. I don't like the notion of us going out one at a time, but we could probably go out in pairs. So that way, if something really bad happens, not all of us get in trouble. I don't really like that plan either, but it seems like the safer of the options if we're going to ask Lynn to deliver us.
Remember, we're walking in as employees. We ain't trying to sneak in. So we could walk in. We don't have to clump up together. But we could walk in normal.
Yeah, we got our badges. We only have a couple of uniforms, though, don't we? Did we get 4 uniforms? I thought we just... She did get us a number of uniforms.
Yeah, badges and uniforms, yep.
Then that's it. We see if Lynn can drive us in. We'll carpool, new employees or whatever. Friends of Lynn, she's giving us a ride. That gets us in. When we get in, we maybe ditch one of the uniforms for a lab coat, because I can talk with the other scientists. And then that's it. We go to lab 6, we check it out, we see what's going on there. It's a chemistry facility, so there's just abundant opportunity for explosives and incendiary devices, I think. So we should be good to go.
Then I guess we should call Lynn.
That's the question I was going to ask. So you call Lynn, and she says that she'll stop over before she goes to work. What I need to know now from the agents is, given everything that you have with you, what are you taking physically, gear-wise, into Lynn's van?
Did Lynn say anything about her van getting inspected at the gate?
I think she has.
Okay, because that's really one of my first limiting factors. Are they going to look in the van normally? Do they normally look in the van? And even if they do, like, we could probably still smuggle some stuff in correctly, but like, we don't want to just be like, well, as soon as you open the doors, you see a shotgun.
Well, you can put it on your person. I know for sure I'm gonna be bringing with me my intelligence, my quick wit, and my charming sense of humor, and I really think that can get us in and out of any situation. That probably better than a gun, better than me having a gun.
Yeah, I agree. Elliot, you'd know that under the uniforms that you'd wear, you probably could wear a vest if you needed to. You only have 2 of them. you likely would know that you'd probably be able to secrete a handgun on your person if necessary. The rifle is right out. There's really no good way to store that. You could break it down and carry it with you, like in the van, and head back to the van if you needed to grab it. But that's about it. If the purpose is to get intel and to secure information, I guess, if that's the goal, before making another series of decisions, then yeah, you want to go light.
I'll be putting one of these vests on, put the plates in it over the uniform. I'll put the other one out on the kitchen table and wave at it. Someone else should wear that. Got the night vision goggles. I'm thinking I'll grab one and leave them in the van just in case. And I'll have my handgun in the back underneath the back of my waistband. And then I'll eat another pancake, cold over the sink.
A man after my own heart. Okay. Lynne stops by and she has enough spots for you in the van. She says if you just sort of hunker down in the back while we go through, there shouldn't be an issue.
That's what we'll do then.
Okay. The 30-kilometer drive it's full of anxiety. It's a nighttime drive. Her shift starts at 9 p.m. And so you are driving by 8:15, maybe 8:30. The radio is playing classic rock, and Lynne is doing her best to sort of tap her foot as she drives and not think about what is likely a very dangerous situation in the back of her van. You begin to pull up towards the facility. You can tell, looking out the front windscreen, that there's a long private road that runs to this facility. You can see ABC as you get closer and closer. You see the smokestacks, you see the lights, you see the massively tall fence. The whole place says go away. And that's where our agents are going. And that is where we'll find them next episode. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Delta Green. We greatly appreciate your listening ears. I can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you and good night.